right? So we are discussing about variables and data types, right? We have seen two sets of two categories of data types. One is primitive data type, second one is non-primitive data type. Okay, and we are talking about the number data type, right? So in JavaScript, a number can be declared either by using such a 20 digits up to you can represent with the 20 digits, and you can represent some float number like this. An integer can be 20 digits, and the float number can be uh, you can write this will be also 20 digits. Okay, and you can write a number by using math library of JavaScript, math.py, math.e, so that see the use of this kind of representation is this will provide a very accurate number. For example, generally, if you are going to write the numbers manually, okay, for example, I'm going to take a pi value. Generally what I can do is I can write something like 3.145, something like that, or I'm going to round off to 546, something like that. Okay, this is not very much accurate. Okay, so if I go for math.py, so let me show this one. If I open this, now I can see you're getting a big number of a pi value. Excuse me. Okay, so here, this is the value of pi value that is given by JavaScript using a math object. Okay, this is a big number. This is very accurate. This is very precise numbers. Okay, so if you use such a precise numbers in your calculations, you will get more accurate results, right? So instead of going for this kind of value, it is better to go for this such a precise value. Okay, math dot, sorry, this one, math dot pi. Okay, that is why we are going to use such kind of precise values. And then the next way of representing the number in JavaScript by using a number function, okay, or a number class, we can call it as. So this particular representation has a capital N at the first, and you can pass any kind of number here. Okay, for example, this is a string I'm passing here. Okay, this is a valid number now. If I refresh this, still I'm getting a valid number. Even though I pass a string, I'm getting a valid number, and it's showing the type of that number is a number, right? What happens if I go for something like 234 uh, B C, something like that, and refresh the page? You're getting a nan, right? So it is unable to convert that particular string as a number. So that is why it's showing a nan. Nan is also one kind of number representing saying that not a number. Okay, so let me correct this one. Next, you can go for infinite value. Okay, so JavaScript provides infinity value. Generally, in some languages, like if you go for C language, it's not possible to represent the infinity. What happens if I perform uh, divided by zero operation? So that is a big error in C language. Okay, runtime error. Whereas coming to JavaScript, we can do that one divided by zero. Why? Because we have an infinite value, infinity. So we can represent an infinity value. Of course, we have both positive and negative infinity. If it is a negative infinity, if you just place minus. If it is positive, just leave it like that. So if I take infinity value and try to represent the value, now see the infinity. This is a value. This is a number. This is not a string. This is a number, and it's showing the type of that number is number. Got it? So what happens if I perform something like 3 by 0? I'm doing some arithmetic operations, something like 3 divided by 0. What I'll get? I'm getting infinity. My programming is not stopping. My programming is not suddenly uh, showing an error. Okay, it's continuing. That is one of the advantage in JavaScript. Whereas in case of C language, it will show an error like by stopping the program. It will show an error something like divided by 0 by stopping the program. Okay, whereas in Java, it will do the same, but we have some concept called exceptions. Okay, we are going to use some try and catch methods. There is some technique is there in order to handle such kind of operations or such kind of errors. Okay, but in JavaScript we don't find such error. Why? Because we do have a value for infinity. And the next one is infinity can be represented something with exponential value. I can go for something like 1 e to the power something you have to use 3 or plus operator 308. So let me see that. So this is one of the biggest real number that you can use inside your JavaScript. Okay. See, we are only represent up to 20 digits, right? 20 digits maximum, something like this. So what happens? I can go for 20 digits up to 20 digits. What happens if I go for 21st digit? Still, I'm able to represent here. Now let me do. So I think. See, I'm not getting more than that. Okay. So, but if you have a more value than this kind of number, okay, if you want to represent more than this 20 digits, you can go for an exponential representation, 1e plus 30. So that 1e plus 30 means after 1, it will append 30 zeros. Okay, so in JavaScript it is very difficult to show more than 20 digits. So that is why you can represent such kind of numbers with some exponential value. 1 e power e plus 30. Likewise, we can represent exponential value up to 1 e to the power 308. That means 308 digit zeros that you can append after 1. Okay, such a big number you can use in your calculation. And you just go for 309. What happens if I give 309? See, the value for infinity in JavaScript is 1 e to the power 309. Okay, so let me write it down. Here I'm going to write in terms of exponential 1 e to the power 309. That is the value for infinity. Correct? The next one. And what we do have, what about the minus value? If I use minus 309, that will be, of course, sorry, I think this is not here. This is minus here. So that will be negative infinity, minus infinity. Got it? Right. So, and last but not least, the one more way of one more number is there. That is nan. Nan is a value inside the number category, saying that it's a not a number. Nan means not a number. Okay, not a number means uh, it's not going to. Of course, it is a number, but it's saying that it's not a valid number. How do we get such kind of numbers here? One example I can give. Let me take two variables where x equal to 9. I have taken a 9 where y equal to 99. What should be the result? Z equal to x plus y. I'm going to perform x plus y. Now what's the value here? I'll get it's 18108, right? 108. So if I try to print this one, let's see. Let's try to print. Sorry, I'm using this document, right? Document, all right. and inside this z is equal to plus z. Refresh the page. You're getting one out of it. And by the way, I need to use a br tag so that I'll get the result in the next line. Okay, that's fine. This is okay now. Okay, this kind of operation showing a valid result of arithmetic operation. What happens if I go for a character? What happens if I go for two characters? Ki. What will get here? You'll get ki. Why? Because the plus operator is a concatenator operator of strings. That means it can join two strings, two characters. Okay, that is fine now. What happens if I take a multiplication operator? Same case, I just go for 9 into 99. I don't know what the value. Let me check with the computer. I got a 891. Z equal to 891. That's fine. Now what happens if I give ki? What would the value here? What will I expect here? It will be something like, just like in the case of addition, it is ki. It's going to add. What about multiplication? In this case, it will generate a nan. Sorry, it's saying that nan. How does it come? Why only for these type of values I'm getting the nan? So one, you have to think. There is no valid rule in mathematics to perform a multiplication between two characters, right? So it's violating the mathematics. So multiplication of two characters is not there, right? So, but unfortunately, what the computer will do is, okay, it will take, when I give something like this, while evaluating the expression, the computer is going to convert the values into what in the character values into ASCII numbers. The ASCII value for the K is, might be, it's a 107, I think. Now let me check for that. ASCII value for ASCII values. Let's go for this one. I think you know about what is an ASCII value, ASCII table. Let's go for this. Let's go for this one. I just want a small letters. Okay, this is not. For small k, it's 107. For small I, it's 105. Okay, so a k in computer is represented with the 107. A I in computer is represented with 105. So a computer doesn't know about whether it is a character or something. Internally, when it's going to perform this one, it will find. One second. Okay, so where is that? We have taken where x equal to k, right? So the computer is going to perform multiplication between these two numbers. Not it's not going to think whether these are characters or something else. Okay, so it's blindly perform that value, something like 107 multiplied by 105. What should be the result in binary? It's going to perform all the things in binary, right? So 107, 105. I got a number, right? 11235. 11235. Finally, the result is a number, but it's not It's not a valid number. It's generated improperly, right? It's not. It's violating the mathematics. So that even though it's a number, but it's not a valid number. That is why we have a value in number category to represent such kind of numbers. It's not a number. Even though it's a number, we are saying that it's not a number, so that we can avoid such confusion. Why this not a number is placed in the number category? Okay, it's saying that it's a not a number, but still it's placed in a number category. The reason is we are the output of the result is in such kind of operation. The result will be a number, but it's not properly generated. Okay, it's a it's violating the mathematical rules. So that is why such type of results generally in case of C or something in other languages we'll call it will show an error or it will produce some garbage result, but in JavaScript it is separately categorized and it's saying that it has given with a value called nan, not a number. So from now onwards, if you find a nan, so you need to think about something like this. Okay, so some kind of number got generated, but it's a not validly generated. Okay, that is called nan, right? That is about the number. The next one is I'm going to talk about strings. So just go for this one. Just one moment, this one. Strings. So a string is a group of characters which can be enclosed with double quotes or single quotes in JavaScript. Okay. For example, I'm going to take a word called JavaScript. Now this is a string, a valid string. Okay. Now let us check the output for this. I'm going to take this one. Yeah. Okay. Now this is for the string. The value is some letters and the type is showing as a string. Got it? So this is what is called a string representation, and this is of data type string. The other way of representing the string is you can use a string function. Generally, we call it as a constructor function. Okay, string constructor function. Okay, so I'm going to use hello world. This is one string. Okay, now refresh the page. The string and its type is string. So this is another way of representing the string. And you can use quotations and you can use multiple words, okay, inside the string. Okay, something like that. I'll talk more about on these strings when we work with operators, arithmetic operators, or something like that. Okay, so that's about the string. The next one is boolean. Group of characters. So that can be represented with something like quoted. You can use something like the JavaScript, or you can use single quotes. You can use string function. Okay. So one thing is if I use some numbers inside of it. Okay. World, triple line, something like that. So this number is also a string here. It's not a number, it's a string. It's a character. Okay. Right, that is about the string. The next one is in JavaScript, if you want to show whether a particular condition is failed or passed, you can use something like not only condition, you can represent some two choices like true or false. Okay, so directly you have something called true or false. These are the two values that is supported in JavaScript in Boolean category. Bool means two. Okay, binary. It's called binary. Okay, so directly you can make use of these words true or false. Okay, or you can make use of something like boolean, a constructor function. Okay, something like true. These are the valid things that you can go for. Are boolean quoted true. Okay, here just go for this one. Boolean. Now you can let me check this out. I just want to take a value. Here, true. Okay, so where x equal to true, so I'm going to take some value here inside of it. Now let's see what value I'll get here. Boolean value. I have given a value true. This is a value, not a string. We haven't enclosed it with this quotations, right? And the type is Boolean. Okay. Similarly, you can give a false value. That is also Boolean value. You can give something with other notation like constructor function, Boolean, something like false. This is also valid. False and Boolean. The one important advantage of this Boolean function is you can place a string inside of this one, a false. Okay. Still, it's a Boolean value. See, sorry, I got true here. Here I have given a false value. I got a true. The reason is one important thing I want to mention here is let me make it as a note. Note we call falsy values. The falsy values in JavaScript is a numeric 0, okay, an empty string, and Boolean false, a null, an undefined, and a nan. All these are falsy values. We have 6 falsy values are there. False in the sense, if I provided these as a values, the result will be false in a condition. Okay, so here what I have given is I just have given a false which is of quoted string, right? This is a string. This is not a false value. This is non empty value, non-empty string, right? It's sorry, it's not an empty string, right? So all only empty string is a false value. Remaining all are true values. That is why I'm getting a true value here. So let's go for this. What happens if I give an empty string now? This is an empty string, representation of empty string. If I give a space, that is a valid string. I don't want to give the space. Now you can see if I given a space, that is a false value. That is why it's showing a false. This is very important thing you need to remember. Okay, so what happens if I give in the condition? Sometimes I just give something like a null value. What I have performed, if I take a null value, I'm trying to do some operations on it. Okay, what should be the result? If it is a condition, the result will be a false value. Okay, you need to take care about such type of things. So always remember, we have 6 types of false values: a numeric 0, empty string, boolean false, null, undefined, and nan. All these are false values. Remaining all are true values. If I have given a number, something a big number, is it a false value? No, only numeric 0 is referred as a false value. Got it? So try to remember this one. This is very important in our applications. Okay, we don't know when you are working with a big code. Okay, sometimes you'll find some weird results. Okay, that might be the cause that will come from such type of fundamentals only. Okay, this is one fundamental you need to remember. Okay, right. The next one is undefined. undefined. Refresh the page. Okay. I have given an undefined. Let me give this to be undefined. Undefined is a value that is there inside a JavaScript. Now, what is this undefined? We know what is in a nan. Okay. So a nan is a number which is generated improperly. Okay. Whereas what is undefined? Is it a number? Is it a string? Or is it a boolean? We don't know about it. Okay. Undefined means if you don't know about, I don't know about its value and its data type. If you don't know about value and data type, then we call such kind of numbers or strings or whatever the thing. I don't know what it is. Why? Because we don't say we can't say if I don't know anything about it, I can't say whether it is a number or a string, something like that. See, assume such something like that. You have observed uh, a weird object in a dark room. Okay, we don't know what it is. Is it a human? Is it an alien? Is it a book, or is it a doll, or is it a something like that? We don't know. All right, we don't know what it is, but you have seen something. So in such cases, we call it as undefined. We are not able to define it. Okay, so in JavaScript, some kind of why? Because everything for the computer, everything will be in the form of ones and zeros, right? So when I powered up the computer, all the memory will filled with either ones and zeros. Okay, so if I take some ones and zeros, something like 11100 111011101, what is the value of this one? Okay, so I'm going to figure it out. So let me take from here this one, and a hexadecimal representation. This is, let me take this to be 0. So this will be a 7. This will be a 1. This will be a E. 1, 1. Not E, it might be D. Hexadecimal representation. This will be 101 means it's a 5 value. So I got a number for this, that is 71D5. I got a hexadecimal number. This is a hexadecimal number. Now, what this hexadecimal representing? Is it a string? Is it a number? Is it a boolean? We don't know. Uh, we just group up the ones and zeros that is blindly that is there inside the memory, right? So such kind of values we call as undefined. Okay. So generally, if it is a string, we either you enclose with quotations. So what the JavaScript will do is it will interpret what are the values that you have given that will be interpreted as a string. Okay. If you don't give quotation, then it will be interpreted as a number. If you use some what do you call words like this, enumerated values like true, false, something like that, then these are called a boolean. But we are blindly mixing up the ones and zeros that is there inside the computer memory. So it might even though it's seeing like a number, but it's not a number which is not defined by the programmer. Okay, we just blindly have taken. This will be fine when you have created a what do you call such kind of numbers will be generated. See, I just created a variable something like temp. Okay, I haven't initialized this temp variable. What happens internally? Okay, so this is the RAM memory. I assume this is RAM, RAM, and I have taken a variable called temp. This is temp, a variable temp. Okay, so assume this occupy 8 bytes of memory locations. Assume. Okay, so in the 8 bytes, by default, Why? Because this is a computer memory. By default, internally the memory contains ones and zeros. Might be some transistors inside the memory may be switched on. Some transistors in the memory will be in the state of switched on state. Okay, so that you'll find some when you created a variable, you'll find some values like this 1 0 1. Sorry, sorry about this. One. Oops. Something some kind of numbers got binary numbers got there. Okay, even though I haven't placed any value inside of it. So if you take such value, okay, so this the value inside such a variable, I can say I don't know what kind of value it is, and I don't know what type of value it is, how much value it is. Okay, if it is a string, how do I represent it? Okay, I don't know what kind of it is. So if you don't know about its value and its data type, then it is referred as undefined. Okay, just like a nothing. Oh, sorry, not a nothing, undefined. Something is there. Okay, something is there, but we don't know about it. That is called undefined. So when you create a variable, let me make a note here. One more note. By default, by default, all variables inside the JavaScript by default, all variables inside the JavaScript whole contains undefined value. So you need to think undefined is a value now. It's a separate kind of data. It's not a number. It's not a string. It's not a string data. It's not a number data. It's not a Boolean data. It is different kind of data. You need to think in terms of like that. Okay. So by default, all uninitialized variable, all uninitialized variables inside the JavaScript. In JavaScript, not inside the JavaScript, contains undefined value. Okay. So I don't know about its value, and I don't know about its definition, I mean, data type. Generally, in C language and what do we call Java, we call undefined as a garbage value. Okay. Garbage means which is unnecessary, which is not needed, right? If you don't know about its value, if you don't know about its type, so we don't bother about it, right? So that is garbage. Same garbage value in JavaScript is referred as undefined. You just try for this one. Um, I just want to take, and I'm going to take an empty variable now. Let me take, I don't want to take this one. Take a y value, and I want to print the y value here. Go to the page. See, oops, what the value of y has? It got to y is equal to I. Where do I got this one? Did I use? Yeah, already y is used. Okay, so because of that, so let me take a temp variable. So I just want to take this one. Oops, temp. Now refresh the page. Might be it's coming side by side, right? So temp. I haven't initialized anything to this variable, but still it's showing an undefined value and the data type is undefined. Got it? Okay. The last one is null value. Okay. So I'm going to take this as another time null. So null is nothing but something like x equal to null, and representing the data type is an object. We'll talk about this one for the time being. Now, what is a null? Now, what is the difference between undefined and a null? Undefined means something is there, but we don't know what it is. Whereas null means nothing. Nothing means we can't say what is. Uh, if someone says nothing, so what we can expect it. Okay. So null is representing as nothing. Undefined is saying that it's something, but we don't know what it is. Okay, that is the difference. And why we are getting the type of this null as an object? The reason is when JavaScript was developed, okay, JavaScript 1.0, okay, there is no way to represent the type of the null at that time. Okay, so they use to represent the null value inside HTML, they use a type tag. There will be a there is a type tag. Okay, so every tag in HTML is treated as an object in the browser. That is what is called DOM, document object model. That software will treat every tag or every element as an object, right? So here I'm representing a null value with a type tag inside the HTML in the past, that is JavaScript 1.0. Okay, so here this is a tag. Tag in DOM is represented as an object. That is why we're getting an object here. Got it? So that is called null data type. Hope you understand this one. Okay. This will be one of the interview question. You'll expect this one, like falsy values. What are the falsy values, and what are the value inside a variable when nothing is initialized? Okay, and at the same time, why null is showing an object? Okay, why is data type is showing as an object here? That reason is it represented with the type tag inside of the HTML. So this is about your data types, primitive data types. We'll talk about non-primitive data types tomorrow morning. Okay, on Sunday. Okay, right, right, Indy. So I'll just stop here. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.